We're here at Ubisoft Toronto, and we'll be sitting down with some of the team working on the Splinter Cell remake, as well as hearing from some special guests. We'll discuss what made Splinter Cell a pioneer in the industry, some of our favorite memories and moments, and we'll talk a bit about what's next for the franchise. So we're here at Ubisoft Toronto's performance capture studio. Can you guys believe that it's been 20 years since the original Splinter Cell came out, way back in 2002? It makes me feel a little bit old, but that's okay. I think it's a good memory to have of a great franchise. So maybe we can just talk a little bit about some of our memories of it and where we were when we first experienced, Sam Fisher and Splinter Cell way back.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was the first Splinter Cell, the original. 20 years ago, I was still in high school, still had a full head of hair. And at the time, broadband internet was not ubiquitous like it is now. So we would get our games on demo discs, which you would have attached to magazines. And I remember popping that into my PC. And even though it ran a bit like a slideshow, I played through it like 4 or 5 times. And it wasn't until I played it on my friend's Xbox that I truly understood what a technical marvel that game was. The lighting, the shadows, the animations, everything about it blew my mind, and it's been stuck in there ever since, and I totally love the franchise now.
It was amazing to see what Splinter Cell was doing at the time compared to other games, like that dynamic lighting, like just being able to shoot the lights, creating your own dark spaces, your shadows, like recreating the space for how you wanted to play. Like that was the thing that I thought was really different from the other games that came out at the same time that are also focusing on stealth gameplay.
You could solve the problems kind of, dynamically as you wished and
right.
Yeah.
In your own way.
Yeah.
I also started with the original Splinter Cell, right? On the Xbox with the Duke controller, big beefy controller in my hands. But what stood out to me was more the gameplay. It was this action-adventure game where you were playing as, this stealth spy style guy, but unlike other games in the genre, you didn't just have your gun out all the time. You weren't just coming up to every enemy, every obstacle, shooting them in the head. It instead was about stealth. It was about going around enemies. It was about watching a situation, a very simple situation, figuring out how am I gonna get past this without them seeing me. That was so different.
Yeah, I think for me, I came into the franchise a little bit later. I started with Chaos Theory, and I remember, it got recommended to me by a friend. He said, you need to check this game out. And I first got into that level with the lighthouse and the storm, and you had the rain coming down and the thunder and lightning, and you were sneaking from corner to corner, and you had that kind of soundtrack by Amon Tobin playing over the top of it. It was super memorable as this experience altogether with the different kind of shadow gameplay. You went down into the underground where the guy was being tortured with the kind of the backlit like shadow of the experience that was happening, and I just remember coming away from that feeling that the atmosphere had just been nailed, and it kind of hooked me in ever since.
I cannot believe that the Splinter Cell series is 20 years old. This is a game that for many redefined the third-person stealth action genre. One of my favorite points was that Splinter Cell was an original Xbox exclusive. When the original Splinter Cell released in 2002, it raised the technical bar from the lighting, which was some of the best we've seen up until that point, to the cutting-edge graphics. For me, the original set the scene for one of my favorite entries in the franchise, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell: Pandora Tomorrow, because that kicked off an entirely new part of the series, multiplayer. This is the game that really helped people understand the vision that we had for a brand new service called Xbox Live. Some of the press called it the single best reason to get online. This was a huge leap forward in the industry.
So let's talk about Sam Fisher, the person at the heart of the franchise. He's not your typical kind of gung-ho, bravado-filled hero. He's got more depth than that. He's got a lot more kind of warmth to him. He's got a wit and a charm and a conscience, and he can make his own decisions on the battlefield. He's not someone that's just kind of coldly murdering everyone. He's got these kind of qualities to him that really resonate with people.
Фишер, мы только что получили последний отчет Челестини об оборудовании Марии Нарциссы. На борту установлена современная централизованная система охраны.
Вы хотите сказать, 3 сработавших сигнала тревоги и миссия окончена?
Конечно нет. Это же не видеоигра, Фишер. Но если не хочешь оказаться в центре внимания, помни о сигнализации.